What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I did want to talk about grinding money and parts again. The reason for this is I do know in the past I did make some videos about going after the best XP events or something like that, or going after events that can make you more money. Even though we do know at the moment there's going to be certain events that are better. Not looking at you, Scene 4, because that is probably the best one for grinding out money and XP at the moment, if you are, of course, running solo. But I did also want to go over this because I would say a lot of players are looking at this right now going, yeah, like I need that car, I need that car. Oh, look, I need this one. Why not just go back on the crew 2 and buy a bunch of vehicles on there, then transfer them over? Because it's so much easier to make money on there because of the icon leveling system and stuff. So I would say grinding money in Motorfest should be a lot easier than it already is in a way. We do also know we actually got that boosted event back in that vintage garage playlist. That was awesome. Also have no idea why they didn't give us another one. That was kind of odd. Put it on like a rotating basis of each playlist. That way you make more money from them. That also might encourage a lot more players to do different events because, they're all paying around 50 or 70% more money in XP on them. A lot of players might go, oh yeah, I'll go do this playlist because I've never actually did it before. Let me jump in and actually do all these events and I'll actually make more money from it. I could switch around cars and get parts and stuff that way when grinding out the events. And I feel like in certain ways, everything kind of works together. Like if you are grinding money, you are probably also going after parts that's in some way, or like maybe even getting certain gold parts you might have been missing before that you might have not had them. And I do feel like a lot of players are grinding out money, guys. They're probably looking to obviously buy the cars or have extra money and spare parts for that matter so they can get different affixit builds, which in return is getting you more parts from the event so you can't scrap them. And then also, having more money to be able to get the other affixit stats. It kind of all plays together, which is kind of insane. Here's the one issue with this though. Not everybody can jump on a Motorfest for 8 to 10 hours a day and grind out events. And even if you could, would you actually want to do that? Yeah, I would probably say no, you don't want to grind out the same event like Scene 4 for 8 to 10 hours a day. That's also why I do think having different events and stuff, having a boost on them would be a better way to do it. That way, you can actually go do different events and have a different variety of events to do instead of grinding out the same event to make around $50 million. It would probably be a lot more fun if each playlist actually had like a 50% boost that did rotate weekly. That way you can actually jump in and go, oh, okay, so I'll do this one and make some money from it. And then, oh, next week I really enjoyed that playlist. Let me go grind that one out. Maybe they could do like an increase on like parts and stuff like that, like I did mention in that older video. Man, dude, we just got to get all this stuff out there, bro. This game could be incredible. They just have to implement this stuff correctly and actually do it. That way, players aren't going back in the crew 2 trying to grind out all the cars then bring them back into Motorfest, because grinding out money in this game for the reason right now is not going to be the funnest experience ever. And that can also come down to the legend points being capped out at a really low number, whereas it probably should be at least at like 50 points instead of 20 or whatever it is. I really do think they actually need to get that in line really quick. And on top of that, guys, going after cars and buying many cars is a challenge in itself because, well, they obviously cost $2 to $3 million depending on that hypercar you're looking at. And legit on top of that, though, I do not want to know what it would actually cost to buy like 500 cars in the game. It's probably a pretty scary number. I would almost guess well over 150 million. I could be wrong, but it is probably pretty dang close to that. Like, I was missing around 15 different vehicles when I ended up buying some of them, and I had to pay around 17 million. I haven't done it yet, but probably should go buy them to at least complete the collection I was missing in some of the vehicles. Like, imagine guys starting off Motorfest, which I did recently mention this in a different video. Imagine starting off in Motorfest, never playing the game before, even playing the Crew 2. You are most likely going to get on this game and go, ha, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm not going to try to spend $150 million on cars when some of the events only pay you $8,000. What? Like, does that even make sense, bro? Like, is this a submarine with a screen door I'm seeing here? Like, we jump in the water, bro. We sinking. Like, we ain't gonna stay up, bro. That, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, they really should have all the playlists actually being a boosted, like, constantly every single week. And also have, like, a part boost on some of the other playlists. That way you can get parts that's done quicker. Like, for example, guys, I do know a lot of players can go, well, Blocked, you could just go farm this Scene 4 event. Like, I get that, but being real, guys, do you actually want to farm the same event out for hours on end every single day? Like, that is almost going to mess your entire experience up on the game. And also, do you really want to do that to yourself, farming that same event for 10 hours? I would almost say nobody wants to do that. Funnily enough, I also did end up grinding out that event for a while to get like level 130 plus again, and I will most likely do it next main stage again because that's probably the best way to do it. Even though before though, one of the funner events I did find was when the Vintage Garage playlist was out with that boost. We actually had the lovely Kiss Me Combi event. That was actually giving you over 40 something thousand dollars and over 30,000 XP in it. So I did find that to be a lot more fun. Plus, you can also use any vehicle class compared to Scene 4. So at least it was going to mix up that variety. And then boom, also jumping into the other events also give you a nice money and XP boost. Whereas if you have like a buck set or like an XP magnet, you would also be making more money from the events having one of those sets, even though the first thing you have to do is get one of the sets. And if you're having issues grinding out parts because certain classes are a nightmare, luckily I would say the hypercar like the tier 2 or even alpha GP is the easiest ones to do it. Like if you're going after an XP set on a drag car, you are going to be in for a treat. And it's most likely not going to be a sweet one. You are going to be there for a while, and you are most likely going to hate the game when you're done even trying to get it. Even going after a chemist set on the drag car was kind of a nightmare. Add more events in for the drag cars, please. That would be kind of nice. We only have 2 of them, and you really don't even have to use the drag cars right now because, only using them in the speed traps and summits is the best way to use them. And if you don't have a chemist, you basically have to slipstream or you pretty much fall behind with a drag car. So maybe one of the ways to fix that though is to maybe increase like the part drops a little bit. That way you're getting more gold parts from the events, and also maybe they can add it so you get 1 extra part from each event. That can also increase your chances of getting more gold parts. And what's kind of funny about this though is I do feel like it would actually bring more players into the game if it was a bit easier to make money and go after parts. And honestly, leveling up the main stage is a whole nother issue that also needs to be addressed, but I feel like a lot of players would most likely enjoy the game more if they actually could make a lot more money in it, and also get part sets done just a bit quicker. Like, let's be honest, guys, nobody actually wants to spend 6 to 8 hours per vehicle class to get them maxed out. Nobody wants to do that, let's be real, like, make it a tad easier to get it. And the funniest part about all of this to me, though, is the fact that if they were to do this, it would definitely bring in a lot more players, but on top of that, it would easily make the current player base that much happier because getting money would be easier. Getting maxed out part sets would be a tad easier instead. One thing I have been noticing about this though is I do feel like in some ways players are almost forced to go back into the crew 2 and most likely go after cars that way because grinding out money in this game, at least depending on your approach, isn't going to be the funnest experience. And I really do feel like, guys, if they were to improve this just a bit, make it a tad easier for everybody, not only for newer players, but also the current player base, would make this so much better for everybody, legit. But besides all that though, guys, I do want to apologize for my mild rant there, but I really do feel like the best way to do this is to get it out there. That way everybody's like, yeah, I'm in agreement with that. Like, come on, Ivory Tower, let's do it. Improve all the payouts and stuff like that. Make the XP grind a tad easier. Give me parts a little bit easier on certain classes, and boom, you are not only going to have a bigger player base, but you're also going to get newer players easier, and also more people would end up getting the game. And in return, though, I feel like a lot more players would also have a better experience not spending 6 to 8 hours on a single part set. Nobody honestly wants to do that, including myself. So what's kind of insane, though, is it would legit be game-changing if they actually just change around the legend points for the actual XP and the bucks. On top of that, increase the payouts on all events, and have it so each playlist is going to have a boost on that, and you can also get parts a tad easier. Boom, guys, that is such a better formula for pretty much everything. I would like to know what you guys think about this in the comments below.